Yo, what's up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Hope yesterday was a nice day. Hope today is the same. Yes, yes, yes. So far, the gap scan doesn't seem too bad. We can take a look here in a moment. Just want to get this link out into the Discord just so everyone knows that I'm streaming. For anyone who still wants to tune in before I start. All right. What's up, Morgan? What's up, Mason? What's up, Peter? All right, let's take a look here at what we got on the scan. Alejandro says, hey, question, which plan do you have on Dash Trader? Do you pay the full $200 one or the $150 one with total view? So actually I actually just filmed a video on this yesterday that's going to be coming out on Saturday. And it's actually about setting up hotkeys. So you should definitely watch that when you get Dash Trader. It's going to be released on Saturday. I have it scheduled. But I did say that in that video that I have the membership for it. It's actually only $120. The $120 membership, that's the one I have. I did have the $150 one, which is NASDAQ Total View. However, I found that NASDAQ Total View kind of just gave more noise on the level 2 rather than actual valuable data, because it'll show orders for like 50 shares, 100 shares, 200 shares, which doesn't really impact the market that much. And I found that just using the $120 version was fine. I can show this here. This is what the $120 version looks like. At the open, it'll show more quotes at the open, but this is just pre-market. But this is fine for me. If you think that you need more quotes, then I would go for a total view. But for me, it doesn't really make a difference. Good morning. Let's have a green day. Yes, let's all have a fat green day today. But yeah, so that is the level 2 that I'm using, $120. I think it's just the standard version. I think it's called standard or something like that. And yeah, the video on Saturday will be on hotkeys, setting up hotkeys and the hotkeys that I use for Dash Trader. It's quite a long video though, about 50 minutes, but it should be like a one-stop shop for all of your hotkey questions, so it should be good. Let's see here. So BPTH is the main stock that I like right now so far. You can take a look at the news. Looks like trading higher after the company announced the completion of its second dose cohort of phase 1/1b clinical trial of the drug, evaluating the ability of the drug to treat refractory relapsed acute myeloid leukemia patients. So leukemia, everyone is aware of leukemia type of cancer. So that's definitely going to capture some attention. Phase 1/1b, it's still early in its testing. Phase 1 is still early in its testing. So who knows if this is going to be enough to really cause a bigger move. We'll see. But usually you start to get into the bigger moves in the price when it starts to get completion of phase 2 and phase 3, since they're more rare. Phase 1 is a little bit more common. But it still could make a decent move. So we'll keep this one on watch. And of course, BPTH, we've traded this before. It has a history of making big moves. And I know the float is very small too. So we can take a look. But the daily chart looks like we're at, 540. Topped out at, 639. So we're up in this area. So it looks like we got a level here. Maybe I can just delete this. This is all from trading this before. So let's delete that. All right. So we can draw out a level here. Can draw out a level here, which is previous support, which is now resistance. let's see here. 530s. Looks like we're holding that, so I doubt we're going to get up to 10, but in case we do, I will put a level here. That's going to be another level there. So we failed to break 10 many times here, so it looks like it's going to be some resistance. And then level maybe at 12, because we rejected 12 3 or 4 times, so it seems to be some resistance there as well. So that's BPTH. So far, the intraday or pre-market chart, it's nice that we're forming higher lows, and we're kind of slightly inching up over VWAP here, closer to the high. I do want to see it hold this area, or maybe even curl up a little bit more. We can see it curl up a little bit more for the open, then we could see a nice opening, potential opening surge. It's still quite a ways off the high, so we'll see about this one. We can take a look at the dilution tracker quick as well, just so we can confirm the float. BPTH. Okay, so 750,000 shares, so less than 1 million shares, so that's very small float, which is good. It means the supply is tight, and if the volume picks up the potential demand, which is volume, could have a huge factor, multiplied factor of demand over supply with volume. So let's say we're turning, 1 million shares per 1 minute candle. After 5 minutes, that's already 5 times or 6 times the float that you turned in 5 minutes, which could easily happen. And that's all potential demand that can fuel a nice move in the stock. So that's why we like low floats, because the potential demand or the factor of turning the float can cause the explosive move. So BPTH, definitely give me a watch today. AGBA is the next stock on the scans. BPTH is actually the third leading gapper. It's only up 73%. The second leading gapper is AGBA, up 185%. Since we closed under 75 cents, the halt levels, the halt bands are only going to be 15 cents. 15 cents to the upside and 15 cents to the downside. So it's going to be very tight halt bands, so be aware of that on AGBA. Let's see if there's news on it. AGBA Group agrees to merge with AI social video platform Triller. Okay, so we have some buzzwords here. AI social video platform. It's a AI has been a nice trend recently. However, we're merging with Triller. I don't know what Triller is. I'm sure you guys don't know what Triller is, so it must not be a big company. Let's see here. I'm just searching up Triller here. Just an American video sharing social networking service. So it's kind of like TikTok. Yeah, it's kind of like TikTok, I think. So, probably not a lot of people know what Triller is. So I'm not sure if this is going to cause much of a bigger move. And it's a merger, so a merger doesn't exactly always do well. It's kind of hit or miss. Unless it's a small company merging with a big company, usually it's like not the best catalyst. But if you see like this stock, like AGBA merging with like Instagram or Facebook or those are the same company, or Google or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, like something that we really know, like everybody knows about, then it's going to be an explosive. It's more likely to be an explosive move. But nobody knows what Triller is really, so it might not perform well. So those are the kind of things that I look at in the news to kind of analyze whether or not if it's going to have a major impact in the price. So looking at keywords, what's the current trends, what company is it going into a deal with, what's the dollar amount as well. So those are all things to look at. And over time, like after a couple of years of just looking at news catalysts, you'll be able to recognize trends of whether or not the catalyst does well, just through historical experience. What I should be doing is actually tracking. Like I should write down the news catalyst, and then like in an Excel sheet, let's say I put down the ticker symbol, current float, the news catalyst, and then total percent or max percent on the day. So from bottom to top on the day, how much did it run? Just to get a kind of a statistic on which catalyst performed the best. Maybe I could form a strategy on that, or that'll be good information to know for potential reward, and maybe holding on to a longer hold time position on certain catalysts. That would be actually a really good research, a really good thing to research and just track over time. I should probably do that. That could definitely help. Anyways, AGBA float. Looks like it's a little bit larger float. Let's just confirm this on the dilution tracker, AGBA. Okay, so it looks like 18 million share float, which is actually not that big considering it's a $1 share stock. Since it's $1 a share, we can probably turn 3 or 4 million shares per 1 minute candle on at the open if it is the hot stock. So the ratio is still probably the same as a higher price stock and a lower float. So the only thing was it's a merger news for the company that we don't know. So we'll see if this one holds up. If it does start giving good price action, then I would consider trading it. At least for the break of 150, it seems to have topped out at a psychological level. So maybe it will give one attempt towards the high, clear out the highs before it fades, or if it decides to go, then maybe start to get more aggressive or something. See if we get a bigger move on it, but definitely on watch. It's actually now in tied with the leading gapper, TIRX. TIRX is the leading gapper. Take a look at this one next. Again, it closed below 75 cents, so it's going to be very tight halt bands. It's going to be very tight halt bands. And again, yeah, AGBA is going to be tight halt bands. I don't like trading tight halt bands because getting caught in halts is a little bit risky because not all the time they resume higher. Sometimes they resume lower. They're tricky to trade around. They're tricky to manage your risk because you go ahead and buy a dip and it halts down on you, and then you're open up like 15 cents, 20 cents lower on a dollar stock. That's a major loss. So tight halt bands are very tricky. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be fully aggressive on something like AGBA or TIRX just because that I know the biggest losses I've ever taken in my career have been on tight halt bands on these cheap stocks that I go ahead and just buy a dip. Like it's a front side move. Everything looks great. Volume looks great. I go ahead and buy a dip and it just halts down. I'm stuck. And then it opens up like 30 cents lower and it's $1 stock. 30 cents is crazy. And I'm taking a massive loss. So because of that reason, I'm not going to be going major size on AGBA or TIRX just because of that knowledge that I know that it's not. It's just definitely very risky. But TIRX, let's take a look at the news. Is there news on this? I don't see news. No news on TIRX. That's already a red flag, but could still make a move. 2.3 million shares float. So 2.3 million share float. Take a look at the daily chart. So it looks like we cleared out some levels here. Looks like there's going to be some resistance up here as well, around 2. Yeah, so we're going to have some resistance in this area. Looks like it has made a decent move before, so definitely keep it on watch. AGBA, the daily chart on this one, we're at 150. So far, AGBA is curling up. You should see some resistance here, maybe. And so AGBA increasing volume right now, coming up to this pivot. Can we break over 132 and hold? If we can break over 132, this is the pivot here. You can tell because we're topping out. Every time it hits 132, we're flushing. 132, flush. 132, chopping around, flush. 132, flush. So there's resistance here. There's sellers here. It could be shorts. Where are their stop losses? Their stop losses are probably somewhere in this area. Either probably between 135 and 155. Some of the people want to probably stop out at the high. Some of the people probably want to stop out early. So this area is going to be definitely an area of contestant. This is going to be an area where either shorts are going to be adding to their position, or they're going to be covering, and longs are going to be jumping on the momentum. Sometimes it breaks over, sometimes it rejects. So you got to be prepared for anything. But it looks like we're rejecting 132 again, or 133. And we're forming higher lows though, so which is good. But we got to break over this level here. So you can either try to time the breakout if you're going long, or after the breakout, pull back, retest, hopefully it holds, and then we see that rip through 150. So AGBA, what's up, hat on? What's up? Holo also curling up a little bit. Holo, I did see Holo. Don't see any news on it. But this one definitely has a history of making big moves. This was the main winner here. Wow, back in February. Holy crap, man. I remember this thing. $1.50 all the way up to $100 a share. That was insane. This thing caused February to be the best month of my career. Just stirred up so much momentum. That was like the craziest move I've seen in a long time. HOLO. So currently up on HOLO. It could just be short sellers starting to cover a little bit. I don't know if it's actually going to make a move, but if you're holding short on any of this backside here, at some point you want to take your profits, right? It could just be right around the time where shorts start taking profits, and we'll see a little bump in volume. So it may not be anything. Tesla coming down. I was holding Tesla at 162, but I sold at 170 before it broke down that resistance. I'm looking to probably get back in at some point. Just depends when. I probably want sub 150. I definitely want sub 150. And I remember on this day here, I remember watching Tesla hit $100. I was looking at it at $100. I'm like, all right, I want sub 100. I'll buy sub 100. And then before you know it, it's all the way back up at 300. Even if I bought like 10 shares, Even I bought 10 shares. What is that, like 2 grand? I would have made 2 grand if I sold, you know, somewhere up here. Stupid, stupid, stupid. But, you know, I was just got too pricky with the entry. It was like even $100, $95, just beautiful entry down there. Beautiful entry. I missed a great opportunity there, but who knows? I mean, we're coming back down. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 130s, 140s. It could also honestly come all the way back down to 100 and break 100 too. Come down here. Who knows? I mean, the overall market seems to be selling off again, so. I'm still kind of holding though. I wouldn't get concerned until it like breaks down below 479 on the SPY and comes back below. But we got 1 minute here to the bell. What am I going to be watching? What am I going to be watching? 1 minute to the bell. I like AGBA. I like AGBA kind of forming this wedge here. BPTH. Just for the opening bell. I don't like BPTH. It's coming down a little bit. It's not perking up. You could get a dip buy on it, but I think AGBA looks good for the open here, maybe for that surge over 133 and maybe for the high. So that's my plan here. Stay calm, cool, and collected. I'm just going to try to just not get deep in the red at the open and wait for the winner. So good luck. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.